the last para of Sanskrit that has been not explained, I think, through sub-commentary. That we'll try to explain that. भिन्न जातीयानां स्पर्शादिहीनानां आत्मनां मनादिवि संबंधो न युक्तः. It says the species of Atman is separate and the species of man, say jati. The mind is having a different substratum and the Atman is having different substratum. Mind is consciousness, mind is matter and Atman is consciousness. So he says of different species, jati, but here, nor it is logical to hold that the souls which are devoid of touch, that will come. So, and the Atman is not having a quality like touch, etc. Sparsa adi hinanam. The consciousness is not having the touch. Mana adi visambandha, which is not having a quality like touch, the consciousness. So, it cannot unite with the mind. That he has told. And for that, yesterday we have explained, giving the example of Himalayas and Vindhyachala. That two different mountains in two different places cannot unite, coincide. While remembering one thing, other remembrance also comes. Because the individual cause is same, the incidental cause is same. Asamvai karanam is the same, what he says. So, while remembering one thing, you remember many things. There is possibility of all kinds of memory raising simultaneously. That, yes, told. The impression of remembrance rages in the mind one after another. Differences are there in between the remembrances. At that time, there is the possibility of remembering something else also. So, previously is told, in one time, Yugapat means in one time all the remembrances we may remember. There is possibility of all kinds of memory rising simultaneously. Same type or same species of touches are seen because it is a special quality for skin. Touch is special. There may be resemblances in between touches. How? Illustration, touching a rope, touching a pot. The touching is the same, but you are different. Here, the Atman is not having that particular quality. In the relative world, you touch different things. But the Atman is not having the quality of touch. In some of same species and different species can touch be there, but they cannot combine like that. Suppose a pot is there, you are touching, a rope is there, you are touching, but they cannot unite. They cannot combine together. Here he says, Atman is all-pervading, mind is all-pervading, they get united. Like that, a part and rope cannot be united. They will not become one after uniting. Separate. In the same way, but the touch is not there. The quality of touching is not there in the Atman. It is completely detached to anything. So, the Atman and the mind, which are of different categories, so they cannot join. Refuting the Vaisheshika, he says the Atman is all-pervading, mind is all-pervading. When they get united, then only you will get the knowledge or remembrance. So that he is refuting. By incidental cause, knowledge cannot begin. Asamvaya karana, he says. By that knowledge. So, there is no unity of mind and Atman. That he has clarified. Now, Dravya Drupadayo Gunaha. In between he brought another thing. A quality can stay in a substance. The quality can stay in a substance. Like the blueness of the lotus. Lotus is different and blueness is different. But they are united. In the same way, he says, mind and Atman are getting united. Opponent, he wanted to prove his side, you see, Paksha. For that he is again telling, like the qualities of some species, like touch may not be there. The gunas are having the touch with the substance, that is blue lotus, red lotus, yellow lotus, white lotus. These are all the qualities they can have, and the color is also pervading and the substance is also pervading. You cannot separate them. In the same way, he says, mind is getting connected with the Atman, both are pervading. Opponent. For that, now refutation starts. There will be union of Atman and mind, like this. It is not so. Why? What is substance? It is defined as Swatantraha Sanmatraha. It is independent and existence. Swatantraha Sanmatra. It is independent as well as it is existence. What is a substance? It is independent and it is existing. Now, the proponent wanted to prove the Atman. There are no qualities. Atman is nirguna. But the opponent says gunas can be there, taking the relative example like a blue lotus, etc. So, now he is telling, first I am defining the substance. You told a quality can be there in the substance. But I say, what is substance? It is independent as well as it is existing. That is defined as substance. But in Vedanta, the qualities are not independent. We do accept that qualities are not dependent. You cannot show blueness without taking the support of a particular substance. The quality, that we do accept. If we say white cloth or a tailless Cow or dog? Tailless, cow or dog? So, cow, C-O-W, cow. What do you call? Cow? Cow. Or you say dog, which is more familiar. Tailless dog. Are seen as having common substance or some category. The whiteness of the cloth is pervading. So he says, common substance or some category. This substance alone is imagined in that form. Now he says, when you say a white cloth, the substance is imagined in that particular form, he says. That's what Vedanta says. The whiteness is there in the cloth. You cannot separate it, that we do accept. But we are imagining the whiteness in the cloth. Whiteness changes, redness changes, blueness changes, violet changes. A changing thing is not permanent. What is the permanent? The substance. So, in the substance, you are imagining a quality. Substance is independent. It is only the existence. So, the illustration is not correct. We do not accept the, what you say, यदि ही अत्यंत भिन्ना एव द्रव्यास्यु, that he has told. So the illustration which the opponent has given has been refuted. Nor it is logical to hold that souls which are devoid of touch and which belong to different category can have any relation with the mind. Further, to some others, the attributes like form, etc., are categories such as action, genus, species, and combination are not different from substance, according to the followers of Vaisheshika, that he has given in the footnote. If they were entirely different from substance, and if desire, etc., were likewise different from the self, those attributes could not reasonably have any relation with the substance. That's why the sub-commentator here defines what is the substance. It is independent and it is existing. Now, we say the Atman is independent and it is existing. In that, qualities cannot be there like desires, happiness, etc. Then again he comes forward, the opponent. If it is held that there is no contradiction in saying the categories that are proved to be inseparable and inherent can have the relation of inherence, he says, Ayata siddhanam samavaya lakshana sambandho na virudyate. What is this new word, Ayata siddhi? Which cannot be separated like the substance and the quality. Again is. But previously also he told the same thing. A quality can be there in the substance. But now he says, the quality and substance, they go together. For that he has coined a new word, Ayita Siddhi. Then the proponent says it is not so. Then he asks, what is this Ayita Siddhi? Do you think it is Do you say different time, different place, different nature? Those can be separated and can be joined. So, what you call out of these four the Aita Siddhi? Different time, different place, of different nature, or they can be separated and can be joined. So, four types of imagination has been given by the proponent to the opponent, because he says Aita Siddhi. In that, we have yesterday, we have already refuted the first one, that the time, telling Atman is eternal and the desires are, they come and go, so they cannot be there in a real thing. Now, the second thing, different places, different time is refuted. Now, different places is called as, it is not so. The cloth cannot stay separate from the threads. If you say different place, it cannot be, you cannot call it as Aita Siddhi. Why? The cloth cannot stay different from the threads. If you put together all the threads, it becomes a cloth. So how can you separate? You cannot call in different places Aita Siddhi. We see in day-to-day life where it is there here, you see, in the Aita Siddhi, in 404, the second pair of the Sanskrit, Aita Siddhanam, 404. That I already told. That which cannot be separated. Inseparable. That is like the substance and the quality. He says inseparable. So what is this inseparability? It is time, is it place, or if you say it is the nature, you cannot tell the time, now you cannot tell the place, then take the nature. Different nature, the difference dissolves, he says. The difference dissolves. What you call different? The substance is having a particular nature and the quality is having a particular nature. Even we see the redness of the flower, it fades. So, the difference between the quality and the substance, it fades, it dissolves. So, you cannot say it is the nature. Then, if we say it is union as well as separation, the inseparability, if you say, now he is taking an illustration. The hands of Devadatta are not separate from him. Devadatta is a person. You cannot say just showing one hand of Devadatta and covering other things. It is Devadatta, you cannot say. Why? The hand of Devadatta cannot be separated from him. Including the hands, head and legs, it is called Devadatta. So separation is not there. Then if you say, keeping this in mind, there is no... What? Oh, your friend has come. Fun. Place. Place, you see, the threads are not separate from the cloth. Whatever you say cloth, it is only threads. Threads put together is called a cloth. So you cannot say the separation is of different places. They stay in one place.
I don't understand how it refutes the quality being inherent in the substance.
White cloth, white threads. You cannot separate white threads from white cloth. If you take away the threads, there is no cloth. If you take the cloth, then the threads also are there. So, the separation you cannot tell belongs to different places. If different places, separation will not be there. It is somewhere, and that's why first he showed about the place. You have asked about the place, is it not? Yes. That is, he told that Himalayas and Vindhyachalas, they are separate mountains, and they are separate mountains.
No, what you said is true.
Place, yes. That is different time. That is different place is, I said.
This is the thread in the cloth, what Swami did. Himalayan, those are
That is different times.
The time was the passing of desire, no? Desire is limited.
Desire is passing away, and the Atman is eternal. So changing thing is not eternal.
So this is the time.
This is the time. Now he is giving the other, he says, those can be separated and they can be joined. Now he gave the example, illustration of Devadatta. You cannot separate, call the hands of Devadatta as Devadatta. So separation is not there. Keeping this in mind, he says, the cause is not different from the substance. That is, the self, that is the Ayata Siddhi, is not the cause. See, Ayata Siddhi means inseparableness of two things. So, he says, the substance, the cause is not different from the substance. The cause, whichever cause you take, say material cause, you cannot separate from the substance. Whatever clay is there, it is only becoming part. So how can you say you can separate? If you say they are different, see, the fourth question is to refute the Ayata Siddhi, that inseparableness of a substance and quality. What is the question? They are separate as well as they get united. They cannot be separate. You cannot tell the hands of Devadatta is called Devadatta. Now, the cause, the upadana karana, the clay, the blackness of the clay, you cannot separate it from the black pot. So there will not be separateness. And where comes the joining? It is already there. So he says, if you say they differ, they are different, the clay is different and the blackness is different. The material cause, to make a pot, we are taking the clay. What you have told? The quality remains in a substance, they cannot be separated. That means the quality goes with the substance. Now, for example, you take the clay. Clay is the cause to prepare a pot. Now you say, how can you separate the blackness of the clay from the clay? You cannot separate. And at the same time, you cannot say that they are joined. Only for that he gave the example of Devadatta. They they can be separated. How can you separate the hands of Devadatta from Devadatta? So they cannot be. And you cannot say they are inseparable. For that he is giving, you see, the cause cannot be separated from the effect. If you say it is different, now different you are telling. What? The black color of the clay in the clay. But what you told in the beginning, inseparableness is called Aitasiddhi. Now, how can you separate them? That means you are talking and telling, there is no tongue in my mouth.
But now the opponent is...
I am speaking but not having tongue in my mouth. See, the inseparableness is called Aitasiddhi. And now you cannot differentiate a cause from the material substance. Like the black clay. And now if you say they are separate, you are refuting your own self. That is inseparable, not. So the fourth one, those can be separated and at the same time they can be joined. This is refuted. Taking two examples, Devadatta and material cause. In Devadatta, the hands are not separate. And in the material cause, you cannot separate them. So you cannot say the inseparableness, at times it is there, at times it is not there. It is always there, as the material cause in the clay, as the hands in the Devadatta. So, now Devadatta is only one substance. Clay also is one substance. That's why he says, what is a substance? It is independent and it is existing. That the proponent wanted to tell about the Atman, that there is no qualities. So, the qualities are there, they are inseparable. That does not hold good because of the time, because of the place, because of the nature, all these things. The main thing is to prove that there are no qualities increase in the Atman. And this Vaisheshika, what he says, Atman is inert. Atman is inert, Jada. And he says, when it gets united with the mind, then only he will be getting the knowledge. Otherwise, there is no knowledge. That's why yesterday I asked, when you are sleeping, when the mind is not working, where from you are getting the knowledge? No answer for it. Oh, they refute their own statements in their talk itself. That proponent showing. That proponent is showing. Because they say the Atman is inert and mind is all pervading. When the mind gets united with the Atman, then only you will be getting the knowledge. That means knowledge is not there before. Only when mind gets united. For that he told, if you say, then only you get knowledge. Then when the mind gets united with the Atman, Atman is pervading, you accept. And you accept the mind is pervading. Then Atman is there, eternal. So when the mind gets attached, you should remember all the things of the past and future and present. It is not possible. So in this way, only by logic, he wanted to refute. What you consider as knowledge, that is, mind getting united with the Atman is not correct. This much you have to understand. Rest, even if you forget, it does not matter. Then the opponent says, you see, for union, we accept another cause. Now he told, one asamvayi karana, incidental cause. Because you are refuting the inseparableness. So if we accept another cause besides, then ad infinitum. How, where from you got that cause? For that another cause, it goes ad infinitum. So it says, samavayasya dravya anyatve sati dravyena sambandhantaram vachyam. 405. And if inherence is different from substance, he says the Aita Siddhi are this thing as inherence, is different from the substance, then another relation will have to be cited for its being conjoined with the substance. So there exists such a relationship between the substance and attribute. Samavayasya dravya anyatve sati dravyena sambandhantaram vachyam. If you say the cause, samvaya is the cause. If you say it is separate from the substance, then dravyena sambandhantaram, you have to get another relation for the cause and the substance. That he is telling. If inherence different from the substance, inherence is the cause, then another relation will have to be cited for its being conjoined with the substance. So there exists such a relation between substance and attribute. Oh, there is a relation between the substance and qualities. If it is held samavayo nitya sambandha, and he says the inherence is eternal. If it is held that since inherence is an eternal connection, there is no need to cite another relationship. The blackness is already there in the clay. So, the inherence of the cause or the quality is already there. So, we need not cite another relation. Samavayo nitya sambandha evite na vachyam. That also we cannot tell, he says. It is the inherent relation. Then there is no reason of their becoming separate, since things that are conjoined by the relation of inherence remain eternally connected. Now, if you say, don't go to the illustration. What he says, let us take into this. He says that qualities like desire, happiness are get connected with Atman. Then only you will get the knowledge. Then what happens? You are not finding another relation. There is no need to cite another relationship to connect the substance with the quality. Substance is Atman, quality is desire. Then there is no reason of their becoming separate. When you don't accept any relationship between the substance and a quality, they are eternal. Mind, you see, the opponent is telling desire is a quality. And consciousness, Atman, is there. When they get united, then only you get knowledge. But to get the union, you are not accepting any cause. That is from proponent is telling. Then the union is eternal. Because the Atman is all-pervading, mind is all-pervading. It becomes eternal. Then all the things should be there in the Atman, all the 9 qualities. Because it is eternal, both are eternal, the union is eternal. That's what he says. Then there is no reason of their becoming separate, since things are conjoined by the relation of inherence, remain eternally connected. If the substance and the like be absolutely different, then as in the case of things that possess the attribute of touch things and things that do not possess it, there cannot be any relation. Now, if you say the connection is eternal, the attributes are there always in the Atman. Oh, no, they are not there always, they are coming and going. So, they are separate. If they are separate, they cannot get joined. In this way, he is refuting the connection of the mind with the Atman. Why? He says the Atman is all-pervading and inert. Mind is all-pervading. From inert thing, how you will get the knowledge? He says when they both join, then we get the knowledge. So he simply says, what you say is not correct. This much we have to understand. That I already told. I am speaking, but there is no tongue. Vyaghata. So he says, if the substantial cause is different from substance and quality, like the Himalayas and Vindhyachalas, there will be no union. The action like dependence cannot be proved. That is, atyanta pradhagatvecha dravyadinam, the actions like sparsha, asparsha dravyayoriva, sasthatya anupapatti. The sixth case, if they are separate, we cannot use the sixth case. That yesterday also we have discussed. Till this, we have finished yesterday itself, I think. That another para only the bhashya has been told, sub-commentary has been not told. So now we are starting the sub-commentary.
Regarding the
Vaisheshika? No.
claim, regarding the claim made by the opponent,
Ah.
it says that the Atman is all pervasive, the mind is all pervasive. But if I'm not mistaken, when in Vaisheshika they speak about mind, they say mind is subtle.
No, no. Mind, yesterday already I told. Vibhu. Ah. Where is the other book?
In relation to Shankar Yoga.
No, no. Yesterday, these things somehow we have to remember. See, yesterday I told the Sankhya and Yogi, it says the mind is Vibhu, and Nayayika says it is subtle, mind. So, Vaisheshika also follows the Nayayika, subtle.
But what I said to my memory, Swamiji,
No, what I used is not correct. When mind is subtle, and the this Atman is inert thing, but when they get united, it becomes all-pervading. That's why he says the subtle mind, when gets united, just like the say the river getting into the ocean becomes the ocean. So he says, even if the mind is subtle, when it gets united, you should get all the remembrances. The mind is subtle.
the reason I got this doubt is because the word they use is anu.
Anu, yes, exactly.
And anu is very, very small.
Very, very small.
Very small, which would, by itself, it would be the opposite of all pervasive. But what Swamiji says is that their claim is that when they
Get united.
unite or combine, the effect will be all pervasive. This is what they say.
This is according to them.
According to them.
But even the Visishtadvaitin, he says the mind is subtle. No. I think he accepts the Atman as subtle. Then the opponent in Brahma Sutra asks, if the Atman is subtle, a man is taking bath in the sea and it is very hot. So just when he stands, the lower portion will be cool and the upper portion will be feeling hot. How this is possible? If you accept The Atman as Anu. Here the Vaisheshika is accepting mind as Anu. But there the Visishtadvaitin accepts Atman as Anu. That has been profusely refuted in Brahma Sutras.
Swamiji, the other day Swamiji said that the more subtle a thing is, the more expansive it is. Swamiji gave the example of the chili.
Ah,
A person eating chili, then the person feels it's hot. But other people,
will not feel. No.
but if we throw it in the fire, then everyone feels. Because then it becomes more pervasive
More pervasive.
due to the fact that it's more subtle. So Swamiji said the subtlest the thing is, the more pervasive it is. Then I thought Swamiji, and this is just a inference, it's not, that since Anu is the smallest, so it's the subtlest. So being the subtlest, it also has to be pervasive.
Pervasive. When it gets united with Atman, then it becomes pervasive. That's what he says. And here another thing, the Anu, we are talking about a substance. A substance is a matter. It is inert. So, to some extent it may be having the pervasiveness, but it cannot be all-pervading like space or ether. That's why Sri Krishna says, Kshine punyam atyalokam vishanti. All right, this example he gave, illustration, that how when you are putting the oblations in the fire, how the gods are getting. Then he told they become subtle and they take. But it is a substance, it is a matter, it is inert. So an inert thing cannot be all pervasive like even the sky. See, during the creation, he says, first he has created sky, then air, then fire, then water, then earth. Even according to science, we say 3/4 of the world is with water and only 1/4 is earth. 75% of the earth is full of water and only 25% of earth is there. Land. So the earth is the effect. So even if we see the cause, it is more expansive, it is having more expansion. But we should not forget that the elements are inert and unreal. Elements are, though to some extent they are expanding, but it is an element. It is matter, it is inert, it is unreal. Then only we can prove that only one thing is there, that is real, that is Atman. Otherwise we have to accept two things. So, sorry that I forgot yesterday that the mind is subtle according to Vaisheshikas. It is not pervading.
Only one more point.
Don't. No.
The point of controversy here. First, we mentioned the followers of Shankar
Ah.
previously, which are the opponents. So they believe that there are many Purushas. And the teaching of Advaita Vedanta, the self is one, all pervasive. So their opposition is that if the self is one, then, and we perceive many people. And as Swamiji said, according to their teaching, if we have 1 million bodies, there are 1 million Purushas. Like this. So they say, and the Purusha is pure consciousness according to them. Then they say, and Prakriti according to them is Jada also, it's inner matter. So Prakriti is inherently not conscious. So their point of contention is, if I understand correctly, that what you say, you the Vedanti, that there is only one Atman, it cannot be. Why? Because I am one person. If I am happy and there is only one Atman, everyone has to be happy. If I suffer, everyone has to suffer. But when we look, one person is happy, one person suffers, one person knows, one person doesn't know. Then they come with the argument, therefore, you claim that there is only one Atman cannot be correct.
Yeah.
Then the proponent refutes this view. So
Because of the adjuncts body that we see the difference, they are imaginary, they are not real. That's what the proponent said there.
So this is why Adi Shankaracharya, Gaudapada brings the analogy of the pots.
Yes.
Place.
Correct, sir.
Yeah. But then the Vaisheshikas, if I am correct, Swamiji, they also believe in many souls.
Yes.
So they also say that what you the Vedantin are saying, only one Atman, cannot be. Because again we see, let's say, that million people, each one has different attributes. And since, so if there was only one Atman, then we should see the same attributes everywhere. But this, again, this is the point of contention. One Atman, many souls.
No, that is also is there, but here the main contention with the Vaisheshika is, he says that there are 9 qualities in the Atman. That yesterday we have already told, they are intelligence, happiness, sorrow, desire, malice, effort, virtue and vice, impressions. These 9 are particular qualities. In each soul, like Devadatta, they stay restricted to him only. So, the proponent says the qualities are not there in the Atman.
And the opponent says the qualities are.
That's why he is accepting many souls. Because the desire, etc. are restricted to a particular person. That's why he is accepting many souls. But first, he has refuted that the qualities are not there in the That's why such a long discussion we had. Now, further he is telling, the qualities cannot be there. Why? He says they come and go. They come and go. The desire, etc., cannot be qualities of the Atman because they increase and fade away as the form, etc. The Atman is not having unreal qualities. The Atman is not having unreal qualities as we negate some of the qualities of the bodies. Some are there, some are not there, we negate. But like this, which the qualities we negate in the body are not there in the Atman. Bodies are unreal, but not the Atman. For that he says, Ichchādi upajena apayavat gunavatvecha atmano anityatva prasangaha. If you accept the desire, etc., which come and go, so like that, if you accept that they are there in the Atman, then as the desire, etc., are coming and going, they are unreal, the Atman also becomes unreal. Ichchādi upajanapāyavad gunavatvecha atmano anityatva prasangaha. If the self is in possession of attributes such as desire that are subject to origination and destruction, it makes it impermanent. The result of action, etc., and the two defects, it begin possessed of parts and the results, etc., like the body, and which being subject to modification will become irremediable. This is told. It makes it impermanent. If you accept the qualities in the Atman, the qualities are coming and going, like that the Atman also will be changing and it will be not real. And another two defects are there, he says. What? Deha phaladivat. One is the body and another is action or fruits of the action. Samavayatvam vikriyavatvancha dehadivadeva doshau apariharyo. And this is samavaya and vikriya. Vikriya is changing. And what samavaya? Two defects of being possessed of parts, results of actions like the body, and if it being subject to modification. One is subject to body and another modification, will become irremediable. So he says, the qualities are not there in the Atman because the qualities are coming and going. The desire and all the other things. If the desire, etc., are not there in the Atman, so it is not bound. It is not bound by anything. Then only it can be liberated. Because it is illogical to say that no bondage, no liberation in relative plane. And again he says, if qualities are not there, it can get liberated. Atman. Because it is independent existence, it becomes independent. If there are no qualities, no desires, it is liberated. But in the relative plane, all the schools of thoughts, whichever may be, it belongs to any school, but everybody accepts the bondage and the release in relative plane, that he is telling. Because it is illogical to say that no bondage, no liberation in relative plane, there is happiness and sorrow are there in the individual, so different selves are accepted in the relative plane. Seeing the different qualities in the relative plane, different souls are accepted. Yathatu. Akashasya, if you compare the Atman with the body, then like the body should have some parts that is not there in the Atman. And like the body is changing, Atman also should be changing. That is also is not there. That he is going to tell. Now he says, the illustration, through the illustration, he says, the liberation and the bondage are only imaginary. Akashasya avidyadhyaropita rajo dhuma malavattvadi doshavatvam tatha atmano avidyadhyaropita buddhyadi upadakata sukha dukkhadi doshavatve bandham mokshadayo vyavaharika na viridhyante. So, the bondage and the liberation, happiness and sorrow, we do accept in the relative plane as you see the smoke and the dust in the sky. They are imaginary. Just as that smoke, that etc. are superimposed in the sky after ignorance, similarly, if defects of happiness, misery, etc. created by the limiting agents, such as intellect, are superimposed on the self owing to ignorance. So, he says, they are all imaginary. Ideas such as bondage and liberation on a relative plane are not opposed. For all those engaged in arguments while admitting the relative experience caused by ignorance, denies his existence from the point of view of supreme reality. Others also refute the bondage, etc. When? From the absolute point, not in the... Therefore, the supposition of multiplicity of the self entertained by logicians is certainly to no purpose. The same thing he has told for the Sankhyas. Only one self is there, so the multiplicity of the souls are not there. Same thing now he is telling to the Vaisheshika also. The ignorance is not real. Actions done through that are also unreal. So we need not accept the relative bondage. Now he is putting another question. You say the ignorance is unreal. Actions done through ignorance also are unreal. So we need not accept the relative bondage. Everything is ignorance. They are not there. You accept. So what is the use of accepting the bondage? When everything is unreal, you say ignorance is unreal. And the effect caused by ignorance is unreal. When it is unreal, Why you accept bondage? Huh? Mixing. He says, accepting of the bondage in the relative plane, all the schools of thought they have accepted. But nobody accepts these things in the absolute plane. So, we are talking of the relative plane. Bondage is there, release is there, liberation is there. Everybody is accepting. That's why he says, the Vaisheshika says, if you know all the substances, you are released. And the Sankhya says, if you know the both Purusha and Prakriti, you are liberated. And like this, all the schools of thoughts, they are having their own ideas of liberation. The Purvamimamsaka says, if you go to heaven, that itself is liberation. So, everybody is accepting liberation from absolute point. In the relative, everybody is accepting bondage. So, you cannot say that everything is unreal, so bondage is not there. We are talking of a relative plane that everybody feels they are having ignorance, so they are in bondage. This we have to accept.
Swamiji said the other day that when we listen to this
Refutation.
discussion between the opponent and the proponent, it's important to know at least in essence the
What opponents?
teaching of the other side. Right? Vaisheshikas, we need to know something about Vaisheshikas. It seems that Vaisheshikas, first of all, the word Vaisheshika is related to Vishesha.
Visheshasya bhava Vaisheshika. That Vishesha is, we can say, an adjective. Adjectiveness is called Vaisheshika. Because he is accepting so many things in relation to the world.
So Vishesha relates to particulars.
Particulars. He is
So
accepting so many particulars.
Specifics.
Specifics.
And particulars are determined by attributes. This is, for example, there is a general cow, but what makes it particulars are certain attributes. So then I can discern between two particulars because of the difference of the attributes. So is this the reason why they emphasize attributes, like Swamiji said, 9?
Attributes, you see, they always, both the followers of logic, followers of Vaisheshikas, and say the Sankhyas, first thing, they are not accepting the scriptures. Another thing, they always go with their mind. How far they can go, by imagining they go. So, in Brahma Sutras, Bhagavad Adi Shankara refutes them. First, let me give the illustration. There was a master, and he was teaching logic to his students. So, once he has finished the whole subject and asked, any doubts? There are no doubts. You have not understood logic, anything. Come again. Again started teaching. Then he says, any doubts? A few doubts are there. No. He come again. After telling 3-4 times, the disciple says, now I am having doubt in each and every step. Now you are a logician, he says. That means you are imagining is having a level. So, now what is the connection with the Brahma Sutras? He says, one particular logician comes and proves something. Another fellow comes, is more intelligent, and he refutes his logic. In this way it is going, refuting one another, this way it is not correct. In Brahma Sutras he says. And actually, you see, we know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a very scholarly person, and he wrote something on logic. So one day, he was going in a boat, and another logician was sitting. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just showed his book to him. Oh, your logic is excellent. I am also writing a book. If they read your book, they will not read my book. I will become a useless person. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took that book and immediately has thrown away the book into the Ganges, because they are in the boat. Now be happy, he says. So, afterwards, simply he has spread the name of the Lord to each and everybody. And he has given up logic. So here also, even the Shruti says, Naisha tarkena matirapaneya. Through logic, you will never realize the Atman. But every time, whenever we read scriptures, not only Brahma Sutras, not only this, any scripture you take, commentaries are there for the 10 Upanishads, and in each commentary, somewhere or other, even in Gita, the commentator brings the opponent and refutes him. Why? So that the aspirants may not be taken away by the thoughts of the opponents. Otherwise, they will be in loss. They will not get into the original contemplation of the Atman. That's why he refutes. And another thing, to get established in our own theory, it is necessary. That I already told, Sthuna Nikhana Nyaya. We erect a pole in the earth and see whether it is all right or not, we just shake it. If it is shaking more, give some more blows with some more stones. So it is like that. If somebody is coming and shaking you, then you will be more strong.
దాన్ని frequently asked questions కూడా అనొచ్చు. వెబ్సైట్స్లో దాంట్లో మాటిమాటికి మళ్ళీ మళ్ళీ అడుగుతుంటే వాళ్ళు ముందే తయారు చేసి పెట్టేస్తారు. If you ask the same questions which were asked before, there is a provision of saying frequently asked questions, FAQ. So some websites or some softwares, what they do is, if a person is asking the same questions, they make a list of those questions and they answer it before itself. So the opponent is something like this, because when writing the Bhashya, Adi Shankaracharya, he had the disciples, or he must have thought that these were the doubts which may come to the students who will be reading the Bhashya or something. So So he brought them already in the form of opponent.
Regarding what Swamiji said right now, there is the text written by Sureshwaracharya, Naishkamya's
Yes.
Siddhi. Then, in the introduction to the text, actually invocation, invocation to his own guru. It says, I'm not writing this because I think that my own guru missed anything in his teaching. I don't, not in order to add, but I write this to test my own knowledge, something like this, to test my own knowledge. This is as much as I can remember.
See, actually what happened, you know this story well, that Shankaracharya wrote the commentary on Brahma Sutras. So, he wanted that Kumarila Bhatt should write a Vartik. Vartik is Ukta Nukta Durukta Nam Yatra Ullekha Tad Vartikam. What has been told, that he has to explain. What has been not told, that he has to explain. And Mukta, Nukta, Durukta. Durukta is what is difficult to understand, that also you should explain. That is called Vartika. What commentator told, that he has to explain. What commentator has not told, that also he has to explain. And what are the difficult points, that also he should explain, that is called Vartika. That is why Sureshwaracharya, yesterday I was telling, he wrote nearly, I think, 1250 slokas just to tell what is the connection between Jnana Kanda and Karma Kanda. See? Whereas the Bhashyakara puts in one word, one sentence. See, through Karma Kanda, the highest result is to go to Brahmaloka. What is the biggest Karma Kanda? Aswamedha Yaga. By that, you are going there. But it is also unreal, the fruits of the actions. Actions are unreal, fruits are unreal. So, just kicking that fruits, he says, kicking that fruits, you should come to the Vedanta. That is the connection between the Jnana Kanda and Karma. In one sentence he has finished. To explain this, Sureshwaracharya writes 1250 slokas. They are called Vartika. So, the Vartika means what has been told, what has been not told, what is very difficult to understand should be explained. So, Vartikanta Vedanta. If you have read Vartika, you are complete in Vedanta. You are a complete scholar in Vedanta. So, Shankaracharya wanted that a Vartika should be there on his Brahma Sutras. But first, Sureshwaracharya is Mandan Mishra. He was a staunch follower of Karma Kanda. Then the other three disciples, they oppose. What they oppose? No. His nature is Karma Kanda, so he should not write. First what he does, he gave a curse. Whoever writes Vartika and Brahma Sutras, he will die. First. Because you people have not allowed me to write. Then there is no connection of the action with the Atman, Naishkarmya. The Atman is without any connection. For that only he wrote this book. This you must be knowing. This you must be knowing. This particular story you must be knowing. So, in the Nashkarma Siddhi, whatever he says, simply proves only the oneness of the Atma. So, I am correct? Now he says the ignorance is not real and the actions done through that are also unreal. So we do not accept bondage. That cannot be. Everybody is accepting. Sarvavadibihi. Everybody. Because of the ignorance of all the individuals and the superimposition, and he is doing all the relative actions enjoined by the scriptures, this has been accepted by all schools of thoughts. So you cannot deny the bondage. Accordingly, they accept all the rules laid down by scriptures and they are following them. So there is no controversy in our school of thought. As everybody has accepted the ignorance and bondage, we do accept in the relative plane, but everybody accepts the liberation in the absolute plane. That differs in the schools of thoughts. Mimamsaka says going to heaven is liberation, and Vaisheshika and Nayayika says just knowing all the substances is liberation. And Sankhya says, if you know Purusha and Prakriti separately, then you will be liberated. So, the liberation, the thoughts of the liberation are varying. That's why we are taking their thoughts and we are refuting their thoughts. So that a good aspirant who is having good dispassion and good discrimination may not go that side and lose the goal. So there is no controversy now. The relation is absolute. Nobody takes it granted in relative plane. The realization is absolute, not relation. The realization is absolute. Nobody takes it granted in relative plane. Staying in the relative plane, that is following all the actions, having so many desires. Nobody says, I am released. Anybody says? Anybody in general, no individual says, following the actions of the scriptures and doing all the relative duties, having all the desires, nobody says, I am released. He is already in bondage because of desire. How can he say? So he says, the realization is absolute. It is nothing to do with relative world. The relative actions are not there in moksha. Again, the same thing he is telling. Even the other schools of philosophies also accept the same thing. To accept that moksha, if you say the real difference is there in jivas, it is waste. That's what the monist says. So, to accept that realization, which is accepted by all the philosophers, if you say the real difference is there in between the individuals, it is not correct. See, now let us follow the relative discrimination. Everybody is having the same type of skeleton made of bones. Marrow is there, flesh is there, blood is there, all the annarasa is there, all these things. And whenever anybody goes to sleep, same type of happiness he is feeling. So, by this we can conclude only the happiness that they are getting from the Atman. So, Atman is one. Bodies are one because of the matters. And what makes them difference? Their mind, their desire, their thought of. So, again and again I told, if you want to enjoy the absolute happiness, just cleanse your mind. You may belong to any part of the world. What that day also I told in the lecture, I think, what is a man? A bundle of thoughts. Few bundle of thoughts makes a habit. Few habits makes a man. So what is in the core? Simply thoughts. If one thought is wrong, he is gone, like Ravana or Duryodhana. So, then in the opposite way, we take all the saints. Sivananji Maharaj is there, Vishdevanji Maharaj is there, Dhanraj Giriji Maharaj is there, Sri Ramakrishna is there, Ramana Maharshi is there. They are not having a single bad thought. You see, in the relative plane, they accept everything. Ravana Maharshi, he wants to feed a monkey. So, he could not see that a root of a tree is there. So, he just, while going quickly, he has fallen down and he broke his hand. That means, in the relative plane, they do accept the relative actions. He is always sitting in his room, but at times he feels he wants to feed a monkey. He ran before that and he has fallen and broke his. In the same way, I wanted to see some birds and I broke my hand. This last time. So, that does not mean, but I am not realized like Ramana Maharshi. That you should not forget. A squirrel was there and its offsprings were there. So they are coming and going, just this much of height it is there. They are coming and going, just I wanted to know where they are staying. Because I am staying down, they just come, peep to you and go back. Peep to you and go back. Right? And I am walking there. And so a chair was there. And I don't know, the chair is very brittle. So just I stepped one step on that and the chair has broken to 4 pieces. I have fallen down on it. And the small bone, you see, very small bone, it has broken and it has turned to the other side. Even it has broken, we were making all the jokes and we were going in the car to the hospital. Then the manager says, Swamiji, because of you, you are all right. You see, if it would have happened to somebody else, there must be so havoc they create in the ashram. Because it is you are laughing and you are joking. All right.
You taught them the lessons. It happened
See,
4 p.m. and after going, attending to the hospital and going, next day morning again 8 a.m. Swamiji was teaching.
that is, night it was 5 o'clock it was operated. And next day morning I came to the ashram and again I took the class for them. And with the same stitchings we came here. It is all right. We should not bother too much. We should not bother too much. Because of prarabdha, something will be happening, going on. So to accept, you say the real difference is not there in jivas, it is waste. Page number 406. Sarvavadivir avidyakuta vyavahara abhyupagamat paramartha avanabhyupagamacha. The bondage and other things are in the relative plane that has been accepted by all the philosophers. Even if we accept the imagination in relative plane, even then all the defects will come. Even if we accept the imagination, that is superimposition, then all the defects will be coming, he says. So, in the absolute, imagining, different souls are not there, he says. Again, the opponent is asking, see, in the absolute, imagination is not there, so different souls are not there, is not correct, because lack of proof. Again, opponent is coming. So now he is closing the argument with Vaisheshikas. He says, therefore, the supposition of multiplicity of the self entertained by the logicians is certainly to no purpose. Then he says there is no proof. Again he is coming. Katham punar atmabedha nimittah iva vyavahara ekasmin atmani avidyagata upapadyate iti uchyate. Page 406, first pair of Sanskrit, now the English. How is it that in the same self, the experiences that point to the multiplicity of the self, as it were, take place owing to ignorance? Owing to ignorance, the multiplicity has been taken. How is it? Katham punar atmabedha nimittaiva vyavaharaha. That means, the opponent says, you are not accepting the differences of the Atman. But we see in the relative plane, all selves are different. So, in one Atman, and due to ignorance, how the differentiation has come? That is the question. You say only one Atman. And due to ignorance, the differentiation has come. How it has come? That we want to know, he says. Though there is no fault in non-duality, now proponent is telling, though there is no defect, no fault in non-duality, because of differentiation is imaginary. Why differentiation is imaginary? But there are scriptures telling the birth and death of jivas. So, in your inference, the cause is there, etc., are not real. In the beginning of Vaityacha Prakarana, the proponent told, you accept the world as real. I accept the world is unreal. So what he told, the waking state is unreal. The world or the waking state is the paksha. You say it is real, I say it is unreal. But now I am proving what? The waking state is unreal. because drishyatvat, because of seeing, adyantavatvat, they come and go, they change, as you see the dream. Dream is coming and going. You are seeing the dream, and afterwards you are telling it is not real. So also the waking state is not real. Now, taking that reason, you gave the reason, drishyatvat, adyantavatvat, seeing and beginning and end. He says it is not correct. Who? Opponent says, why? In your inference, the cause is there, drishyatvat, but it cannot be proved. Anaikantikata is there, that means the reason is there, drishyatvat, but what you are proving, it is not correct. The unreality of the waking state is not correct. Because there is no proof, he says. Then the proponent is telling, but here the Gaudapadacharya says, Rupa karya samakhyasya vidhyante tatra tatra vai. Akashasya na bhedosti tadvad jiveshu nirnayaha. Though forms, functions, names differ here and there, in respect of ether contained by jar, etc., at this causes no difference in the ether. Similarly, is the conclusion with regard to individual souls. He says, there is no proof that different souls are there. Again he says, only one ether is there, you see the difference. The question which has to be refuted by this sloka is being asked. How is it that in this himself the experiences that point to the multiplicity of the self, as it were, take place owing to ignorance? This is showed by the sloka. So after a long discussion of 2-3 days, what is the conclusion? From the absolute point of view, there are no different jivas. That's all. This is the conclusion for both. Now, he has asked another question. There is no proof. So through the illustration, he is giving the proof that we already read. Those who accept different cells in their schools, it is easy to prove form, particular form. It is, say, color, white or black, action, through action, a cook, a reader, a walker, and name and X, Y, Z, but not so for those who accept one Atman. Those who accept different jivas, why is told Rupa Karya Samakhya. Rupa is form, Karya is function, Samakhya is name. In the relative plane, they do accept. Is it not? But not so for those who accept one Atman or one who experience the oneness. Though forms, functions and names differ here and there, in respect of either contained by jars, etc., yet this causes no difference in ether. In the same way, in the relative plane also, they accept the oneness, then only they can act accordingly. When we say work is worship, Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, how it comes? When you see the oneness even in relative plane, otherwise some differences will be there. So now the proponent is giving a logic. He is giving a logic inference. Vimata, I say Atman is one, and you say selves are many. Jivas, in reality, they are many. No, this I think is opponent is giving. Jivas, in reality, they are many because of different names, different actions, different forms, like pot and cloth. Now, the proponent says, in the space part, you cannot prove what you say. Only one ether is there. It may be in the room, it may be in the ashram, it may be in a cave, it may be in a kamandulu. This is Karaka. So, yesterday I found that one picture was there, Dayananji Maharaj holding a kamandulu and his photo was there. Kamandulu you must be knowing, the black chippy we call in Hindi. So, this space in the kamandalu or this space in the pot, even he goes up to that space in the needle. Needle is having small space behind. So, the proponent says, the space parts, etc., you cannot prove what you say. Their oneness is there. He is giving the answer through sloka. So he is giving the answer through the sloka, uchyate, and he has told. Now, up to this we have finished. We have to do the commentary for this particular sloka. That we will do in the evening. Some commentary and supplementary. And here something is written, though it is in a zigzag way. Vivartavada and Ajatavada are accepted by Vedantins. Parinamavada accepted by Sankhya. Yogi says Satkaryavada. Vaisheshika and Nayayika says Asatkaryavada. Asatkaryavada means that the cause is not there before creation. See, we say Atman is there as the ether, it has come to all the parts, but it never accepts. And Kanada and Gautama Nyaya, the Arambhavada, that is, from atoms the creation has started. And Kapila, Sankhya, Purusha and Prakriti. So these are some of the things that are written there. What is from the other notes we have taken? Satkaryavada. Satkaryavada. Satkaryavada means Karana is there before even creation. As in the clay, the pot is there, yogurt is there in the milk, and oil is there in sesame. So, the cause exists even before the effect.